Hello my friends, so this is the final video of this restoration. This was a very special restoration that, believe it or not, took me almost 4 years. Why 4 years? Well, I can put several excuses, but none of them will be completely true. The truth is that many things got in between. Other restorations, pandemic, life, I broke my back. So there were many things that made this restoration took so long. Luckily, the owner, that is Eric Reis, is really very patient with me and very supportive. So I'm extremely grateful to him for letting me doing this restoration. Well, this machine came from Waco, Texas. When it came, it was in a horrible condition. To be honest, it was in a really pitiful condition. Was missing the case, was very dirty, was rusted. Many things were rusted solid, and on top of everything, it was once plugged to 110 volts and was burnt. Inside it was literally burned. The rotor, the wood part, the nucleus of the rotor, that is wood, was literally burnt. It was like charcoal. So it needed I needed to rewire everything, do again all the coils, all the rotor, plenty of work there, hours and hours of work. Then the case was missing. It came in a sort of crate. So I think this machine made. By the way, this machine is a very early one. It's serial number 8822. I think this machine was installed on a big cabinet or something like that. You know, the typical slot coin machine to make money out of it on fairs and things like that. So what it is was to ask help from some friends that send me the dimensions of the case for these kind of machines, and also what I did was to make a jig and to replicate this kind of edges, okay, of connections, the finger joint connections. It was not easy at all, but I enjoyed the process of making it. The wood I have used is from a piano, mahogany came from a piano that is approximately of the same age as the phonograph. Well, apart from that, well, I dismantled every single part, every single piece, every single bit. I cleaned, polished, nickel plate when needed, restored things like the brushes of the rotor and also the speed regulator. Many screws were missing or were the wrong ones. For example, this corner here, let me show it here so you will see better. This corner here of the wood was missing, and plenty of other little bits and knobs like this. But the main problem of the upper works were the paint. The paint was missing in several areas, where was completely missing, was deeply rust underneath this plate, for example, and also on this plate. And well, was missing in way too many places. I tried to clean it, and when I started doing it, I discovered it was like a stain here and a big stain here, and also here in the back and all around here. And I discovered that in the case, it came in the crate, somebody put a lid of paint on top of it, of green paint, that for some reason started dripping. So I have a big poodle of green paint here that have gone all the way, for example, here and there, and was everything was stained with a thick layer of very dark green paint. So I scraped it painfully and trying to disturb it a little as possible, the paint. But at the end, it was obvious that it was never going to look half decent. So I talked with Eric, and we decided that the correct way of restoring it was to remove the paint, strip it completely to bare metal, and paint it again. But then came the problem that if I paint it with paint, it will look as new. So let me try to show you what I did on the paint, on the black paint. Because before, let me explain you something. This is painted, but this is the original paint, and this is the original paint. So some parts were good enough to be left undisturbed with the original paint, and this is also the original paint. And what I did is to add just a drop of cracking um, agent to the paint, the same agent chemical compound that is used, for example, on the Torrens Excelda. That you see the Torrens Excelda have a very cracked paint. So by adding just one drop, what you obtain is very thin crack lines. You see that are extremely subtle. If you don't put a very strong light over it, they just disappear. You don't see them. But this makes the paint looks aged. You see here also a little hairline there. Okay. Then I did all the gold stripping. This was something that I didn't know how to do it, and I learned. I developed a technique to do that. To do it, I practiced several days, and then, well, I'm really, really happy how they turn. And that's it. That's it. It's very fast said. Every single part was restored. I also um, the reproducer was missing. This is a standard speaker. I will go into detail in a minute about the standard speaker. These tabs were missing. For example, this screw was missing. So I make the thumb screws. Let me take one for you. Okay. I made these thumb screws so you can remove it. And I also did one thing that I saw on another Class M that was almost of the same area, is that on the drawer I put a lid with holes so you can store more of them. Okay. Here I have the connectors of the hearing tubes that I have the wire. I made the wire, but the rubber I had was perished, so I'm waiting for the new rubber. And by the way, I also restore the recording tube. This was also completely gone, completely uh, falling in pieces, and I've managed to find a tube that looks exactly the same. It's a little bit too stiff, but well, it works. It works, and it looks exactly the same. So that's also one thing I did. I also managed to find the correct knob, porcelain knob for it. Okay, and standard speaker. Standard speaker has the. Let me try to focus. Focus, please. Okay, have the two sapphires, recording and reproducing. And also I changed them because they were a little bit worn. So I put a new glass diaphragm, and well, I refurbished it completely. And that's it. I'm really happy of this restoration. It looked like the real thing. Has all its parts, all its the chip drawer, the everything. And well, it took me almost 4 years, but I think it was worth the wait. Worth the wait. And that's it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed, and I will put it in the box, in a very big box now, very well protected. I will send it to Eric in one day. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, guys. Bye.